Morning. I'm excited about Sunday. This is going to be an awesome Sunday. We're the Carmichaels, Tim and Joan. You guys are our church. You're the church that sent us out. Most recently, you have sent us out to raise awareness, to wave a flag, to light a fire, to encourage the church here in the United States to be involved in what God's doing around the world in reaching unreached people groups. So from time to time, we like to come back and give a report. So we want to tell you this morning about our most recent trip, which was by far our worst, best trip ever. We had planned a 5+ week trip all over the country. We were going to be going from Pennsylvania all the way out to Bismarck, North Dakota, speaking many multiple times in lots of different places. And as we prepared for that trip, we're getting ready for it. And there's just a lot of stuff going wrong. Our car was already broken to start with, and then it got a new problem where it just didn't want to start like at all. Used to, it would start and just run really roughly because there was like a cylinder that wasn't doing what a cylinder is supposed to do or something. I don't know. But then it wouldn't start. And so that was a problem. There were other problems. We had financed all of this past year, which involved, I think we went through 4 cars. Transmission problems with our kids' cars, problems with our cars. We spent a lot of money on cars this past year. Long story short, the credit card that we have that we usually get paid off every month or every other month, we could no longer use that credit card, right? Okay, so we look at our finances before we're ready for this trip. And we had the lowest, what we call a voucher. People who give each month, we get that the next month, right at the end of that month, and then we get an email, and that's like our paycheck. And then that paycheck, it's not just our paycheck, but it's how we fund our ministry. And we got the lowest one we've ever gotten, so low that we didn't have the money in the bank or credit card to use, or the money that came in was not going to cover this trip. We would not be able to put gas in the tank, right? So I make the very rational, well-informed decision that we're going to have to cancel this trip, or at least cancel major parts of it. And I share that with Joan. And she says,
I knew right away, of course we didn't have the funds going into it, looking into it, but I knew that this was our job, and I just said, okay, Lord, well, let's see how you provide, knowing that we didn't have one cent, so.
Yeah. So I'm trying to explain to her, sweetie, you don't understand. We can't afford this trip. We have to cancel. And she keeps saying, no, sweetie, you don't understand. It's going to be cool to see what God does. So I go and I sit down and I'm looking at my phone, trying to figure out who we're going to tell no to, people who've been waiting to see us for over a year. And I get a text. From a young man who's sitting here today. And he says, Mr. Carmichael, I'm on the Tim Carmichael committee at school, and we want to know if you had any prayer requests we could pray for. And I texted right back to him right then. And I said, first of all, I said, wait, there's a Tim Carmichael committee? No way, that's awesome. And you're on it? That is so cool. And then I told this young man, I said, okay, look, I'm really busy. I'm in the middle of something. I'll get back to you later. And that was a complete lie, because what I was busy doing was preparing to cancel the trip. So 2 days later, I text him back and I say, okay, here's the deal. Here's our itinerary. Here's every place that we're going and everything that we're going to be doing. A big, long list all over the country. And at the bottom, I said, here's something else you can pray for. We don't know how we're going to pay for this. We have enough money for gas to get us to Kankakee, where we're going to drop our car off to a guy who's agreed to fix it. It's another guy who's sitting here this morning who fixes our car, usually for free. And we keep him busy because our car needs repaired all the time. And he said, yeah, if you can get to Kankakee, we'll take care of the car. So we knew we'd get to Kankakee. And then I get a call from my dad, and he says, hey, I hear you have car trouble. If you can get here to Kankakee, you can drive my truck. And we go to start the car. If it doesn't start, then that's a pretty big sign we should stay here, right? So fingers crossed, I'm hoping the car doesn't start. You know what happens? Stinking car started like...
Not one problem. It was amazing.
Just boom, like fired up. It was beautiful. It was amazing. Yeah, and I'm like, oh, seriously? So now we have to go on the trip because she's saying, well, we'll just wait and see what God does. So we come to Kankakee. We got here on a Friday night really late. I'm in a bad mood. We're really busy. We got to get going. There's 3 different people, 3 different families that have been texting us nonstop. Hey, you need to stop by, swing by just for a couple of minutes. And I'm like, we don't have the time. Don't they understand we're in a hurry? We have to get to our first stop in Michigan on Saturday night. We don't have time to run by and see these people. We're going to be back there in 4 weeks. We'll see them then. And they were insistent that we come by. And each of these people who live in different parts of this city and different parts of this county, when we went by to see them, They put money in our hands. These are people that support us on a regular basis. Two of these three groups of people had just lost a job and started a new job. One of them is a widow. They have no business putting money in our hands on top of what they already do. That money got us from Kankakee to Michigan, where we preached at a church that Sunday morning. That Sunday night, we're at a separate church in Indiana, about 100 miles away from there, where we spoke at a youth group and spent the night with that youth pastor. The next morning, we had to make our way towards Pennsylvania. When we needed to get gas, we weren't really sure what we were going to do. Joan was on her way into the gas station in the middle of Ohio somewhere, like near Mansfield, Ohio, on Route 30. And she had the money that the folks from Kankakee had given us. And then I found in the middle console an envelope that the youth pastor had snuck into when he spent the night at his house on Sunday night. Even cooler, when I went to open the little door for the gas tank to put the thing in there, there's an envelope stuffed in the gas door. That came from somebody at that very first church we went to on Sunday morning. Inside that envelope was a $100 bill and a scratch-off lottery ticket. Wait, I scratched that ticket and I won nothing. But how cool would that have been? Wouldn't that have been amazing? Like, this ticket paid for our trip, and by the way, we're millionaires now. You'll never see us again.